Welcome to End Time Signs and the Headlines, brought to you by the Light of Life Ministry. This is Regina, and today, July 4th, 2014, I'll be going over a few of the most recent headlines and signs in the times. Feel free to visit us at our blog, endtimesigns.wordpress.com, where you can select to subscribe and receive updates via your email, or you can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/endtimesnewsheadlines and receive these stories on your wall. First in the news, something that has a lot of people up in arms and is making headlines, at least not in, I don't know about the mainstream media news because I don't really pay attention to that, but it certainly is in other news agencies. One of them is that the Border Patrol agents are accusing Obama regime of aiding smuggling of illegal aliens. Via the Blaze, Border Patrol agent Hector Garcia on Thursday accused the Obama administration of aiding, abetting, and facilitating the smuggling of illegal aliens across the border. In an interview with CNN, Garza said the current influx of illegal immigrants is organized and orchestrated by the drug cartels. Additionally, he said the federal government is giving illegal immigrants a free pass. He said the feds are using the equivalent of the honor system in asking illegal immigrants to later report to an immigration hearing, even though the majority of them will never do so. With resources being diverted to process illegals, the crisis then allows drug cartels to sneak illegal drugs and weapons across the U.S. border undetected, he explained. Garza later argued that U.S. taxpayers are going to be on the hook to provide for the immigrant families. And this is true. We're already a struggling nation, certainly economically, which brings me to our next story, and we'll jump back to the immigration issue in a moment. But in signs of economic collapse, the record number of unemployed is now 92,120,000 that are not working and not looking. Up 111,000 from the previous month, there are now 92,120,000 Americans ages 16 and over who not only didn't have a job but stopped actively seeking one in the last month. While the government is still claiming a 6% unemployment rate, the actual unemployment number is almost 29%, with the number of those who are underemployed hovering around 16%. But if you looked at only the mainstream media reports around the country, you might believe things are getting better. In fact, despite numbers that show the exact opposite, a number of mainstream media news outlets ran the headline this morning, "Has the labor force finally stopped shrinking? Economy on the rebound," and even President Obama has finally pulled the country out of the despair of the Great Recession. I don't know about you, but that's certainly not what I'm seeing. Back to the illegal alien issue, there's also a disease threat that is accompanying this largest influx of illegal aliens. And WND exclusive, the establishment's media's refusal to acknowledge that once contained or eradicated diseases are re-entering the U.S. through the latest flood of illegal aliens isn't a surprise to Michael Savage, who earned a doctorate in epidemiology, I think I got that right, at the University of California at Berkeley before becoming a nationally syndicated talk radio host. What the liberal media is hiding from you can be dangerous to your safety, your security, and your health, he told his listeners. And this is backed up by a recent story coming out of Infowars.com, where the CDC confirmed activation of an emergency operations center in response to immigrant influx. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has established an emergency facility to cope with diseases moving across the border, the agency admitted to Infowars on Tuesday. In a taped phone call, the CDC Information Hotline representative confirmed that unbeknownst to the American public, the agency has set up an emergency operations center to deal with various diseases accompanying the surge of illegal aliens currently staging a virtually uncontested U.S. invasion. In response to this influx of unaccompanied alien children, CDC's Emergency Operations Center has been activated, the CDC rep stated, likely reading from a script. During this activation, the EOC will work closely with the Division of Global Migration and Quarantine. Though the location of the facility wasn't disclosed, the statement confirms rumors the federal government has secretly set up a facility to deal with diseases brought over by the current surge of illegal immigrants. Until now, the federal government has remained largely silent on increased public health records linked to the immigrant influx. As we reported Saturday, the CDC ignored border agents' pleas for help containing the spread of the disease. Numerous border agents have contracted disease from exposure to afflicted minors, and reports suggest the influx, now hailing from several parts of the world, not just Central America, may potentially bring with it deadly diseases such as dengue and the incurable Ebola virus. There are also increased worries immigrants hailing from Honduras could be infected with HIV, the AIDS-causing virus. You can read more about that at Infowars.com or on our blog, endtimesigns.wordpress.com. Looking up to the heavens, we have some more signs. A bright orb visible for more than 2 hours in Chile recently on July 2nd. You can view the video there, but those who have seen the object said it was visible for more than 2 hours and it was moving at 600 feet above the ground before suddenly disappearing. Signs down below. There's also been a crop circle that has been reported at the Long Man of Wilmington, Long Man, East Sussex, UK on the 3rd of July. 2014. Note that some of them are man-made, but they are also supernatural in nature, coming as warnings and signs of the times from God's holy angels. So keep an eye out there. Hurricane Arthur made landfall in North Carolina recently. Kills Devil Hills, North Carolina reports that Hurricane Arthur made landfall late Thursday near the southern end of North Carolina's Outer Banks. The U.S. National Hurricane Center in Miami said Arthur hit land about 11:15 p.m. between Cape Lookout and Beaufort, North Carolina. Arthur was a Category 2 storm with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. The storm was located about 65 miles southwest of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. It was moving northeast at 18 miles per hour. Thousands of vacationers and residents had earlier fled parts of the state's popular but flood-prone Outer Banks, and the 4th of July celebrations up and down the East Coast were postponed or faced the threat of cancellation. We'll be keeping an eye on Arthur as he continues on, and also keep in mind that this is just the beginning of the hurricane season, and things are guaranteed to speed up. If you're keeping an eye on the skies, you'll also notice that more chemtrails are appearing. There was a meeting held in Kingman, Arizona recently where a group of people throughout the Mojave County were concerned about what exactly it is that's being sprayed on them. And you should be too. Certainly do more research on this and know that it's not anything good. And currently right now, again, going back to the illegal immigrant issue, militia and patriots are forming a human chain at the border to stop illegals. Militia members and other concerned U.S. citizens are converging on the border town of Laredo, Texas, to create a blockade against illegal immigrants crossing into the United States. The organizer of the human chain and protest said at Newsmax TV's Midpoint. This will continue for days and weeks to come and spread to other points along the U.S.-Mexico frontier, Barbie Rogers, founder of the Patriots Information Hotline, said in a telephone interview. Rogers declined to give an exact head count beyond more than 50 people or reveal whether participants were armed, citing worries about their security. But she said blockaders will follow the same rules of engagement as protesters in an April standoff between federal officials and Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy. Just like at the Bundy Ranch, there will be no patriot out there on that line that will fire first, Rogers said. Keep an eye on that, or at least we will, at End Times Signs for more updates in the future. Well, that's about it for today, guys. Again, feel free to visit us at endtimesigns.wordpress.com or facebook.com/End Times News Headlines. Like us, follow us, keep up with the latest End Times Signs.